Hi everyone, today is February the 2nd. Kind of excited. It's the annual report season, and everywhere you go, you see reports of so many companies. So you can actually dig dive into it and then understand what the companies are doing. However, we as technicians, we always like to stay calm in this moment, especially. We want to take all that information in, but we have to stay calm and put everything into the lens of the Elliott wave principle. We're going to be looking at Oando today, and yeah, we'll start off from where we looked at it from before. So in this post, we're going to also take a look at where we started off with Oando and some of the things that we have narrated, even in 2024 in our Discord group, just so that people can be aware of where our position is and where we stand, where we stood with Oando all this time. So on July 23rd, 2025, we posted a free article. So guys, when you see an article without the watermark, then that is a free article. We posted a free article to say Oando bears older narrative now. And that is this article saying that we are still in the waterfall. We're still going to have some weakness in the market. In February 26, 2024, we wrote that Elliott wave support nears, and there we say that um, we're still looking downwards for Oando. That we're looking at about 36 to 30, 37 to 30 region. This was back in February 26, 2024. Our latest post is on January 23rd, 2026. And there we said, well, we're going to be still looking at a little bit of weakness for wave two before we can move up. We've always been looking down for this asset. Uh, but however, let's take a look at where we actually even started from, talking about Oando and warning people about the situation that we found ourselves. If we jump to our Discord channel, and sometime in November 2024, we made a post to say, guys, careful with Oando. I think the decline for the wave C is too steep, and the rally may have come to a temporary halt, and the bears are in control now. We will see further weakness. Conversely, a lot of money here would chase some of Dank, Sugar, and Nascon, which are both setting up. And at that time in 2024, we presented this chart to be like a mock of what we expect to happen in the market. At this time, Oando was at 90 or thereabout. And we say we're going to see this kind of waterfall effect because the steep that we've seen here was too steep. When you see a very strong adverse movement in the market, you have to recognize it because you know this is all about money, and people are taking positions and things like that. And we had seen a significant rally before that. So we told our users at the time that, listen, we need to make a decision. We need to jump out of this market because there's certain change of character in the market and we need to recognize it. And subsequently, we made several different admonitions and warning people that, listen, we need to take it easy with Oando. We will have to get out. So here, even when we had this 60% move up rally, we said, sorry guys, I don't think Oando is in. There is a high probability that I'm wrong given the move today, but there are some basic things that should happen that has not yet happened yet from a technical perspective. And this was when we made that 60% rally upwards, and we said, listen, this is just going to be a bear trap. This structure is not complete yet. We expect more weakness, and at the time we were even targeting 13.65. So we've actually not been bullish in Oando, and rightly so. So here we projected about 23 at this time. This might look like bunch of lines to you, but they are not. These are actually curated and much properly researched positions before we make these claims. um yeah, so we've never really been bullish and we've always known that they were going to be that we're going to be heading down in the market. We made several warnings. This was one of them as well. We said we're going to be going down. This was when we're at about 40 something, and we said, listen, we're going to be heading towards the 30 region. So, but it's best for all of us to be aware of this. Yeah. So, what's the current situation? Let's jump into the current charts, just just so that we can see what we're looking at for the week ahead. Right. So this is our current position at the moment. So what we're dealing with here is a wave 3 zigzag pattern forming for A. So this is going to be A, B, C, D, E, 4, a wave 4. So that's the only change that we have made in the structure. So this is the 618 Fibonacci ratio of the move from here to here, which is wave A, for wave C at 61.8, and here is 100. So when you look at a zigzag, what is important about wave C and wave A, which is very important, is equality. There needs to be some level of equality. It could be 100% of A for C, or 61.8%, some kind of Fibonacci level. Sometimes you can see with C travel beyond equality, but I like to keep it around or before or below the 138% of wave A, because after that then it becomes a different kind of pattern. So in this situation, wave C is 618% of wave A at 37 location, and it's 100% at 16. So to be honest, I would not be surprised if Oando did 16, but we're working with this structure at the moment. So what we have here is a 1, 2, 3 with 4 around here, and a fifth wave. If this fifth wave goes down to 100%, fine and good. But for now, we'll just work with this here because of the trend line that we have here, and the fact that we would have taken out this low. There is some level of inefficiency in this market. If you look at here, also people keep asking me, what do I mean by inefficiency? Let me explain this a little bit further, just so that everyone gets a better idea. So at the time when this market rallied from this point here, which is 8.9 to about 890, there were a lot of buys that were here that were not easily filled. I won't say easily filled, but I mean, you can see the time that it took to make this move, it was very fast. So certain groups of individuals were purchasing this very fast, were purchasing it very fast. And unlike what we have here, where there was a lot of demand, for the supply that was coming into the market, people were buying it. So it was easy for people to scale in and out, scale in and out, scale in and out. But from this location, there was a very abrupt buy. There was a very serious buy, So for an individual who is investing in this kind of location, what you would realize is that yes, you would make your money really, 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 really fast. And then what happens? You begin, so assuming you don't dump here, you begin to dump at these locations. So that fund, there's some level of inefficiency with regards to this, because some people would have gotten here, some people have gotten here, some would have gotten here, but then you've not made so much money. Perhaps you just made about 60 or 70%, and you got caught up within this place. So this place is a very psychological location for a lot of people, and when it comes in out here, there'll be so many people that'll be willing to shell in a lot of money. So in that case, it creates some level of liquidity pool because people do realize, oh, this has actually gotten to that price that it was before. Consider like an iPhone. If you buy an iPhone, for instance, in the market, and you bought an iPhone at $10 or 10 naira, for instance, and that iPhone went up and went to about 80 naira, and you're like, no, 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 that's crazy. I'm not going to be able to buy this iPhone at 80 naira, man. That's ridiculous. I bought it at 10 naira before, and now it's 80. No, I'm just going to wait. If something happens, then if it comes down, then maybe I'll buy it again. And then all of a sudden, you now realize there's an opportunity to buy it at 20 naira, for instance, not even 10, but at 20 now. If you hesitated at buying at 40 or hesitated at buying at 60 and at 70, when it gets to this location, you'll be like, oh my God, this thing has gotten to 20. I must get in. I must get in now. So you see a lot more people will be willing to purchase at these levels, much more than at these levels. And that's what we're seeing here. So this resistance, this support, this resistance that have become support here. I mean, this support that we have at this location, once it is being taken out, it will open up room for a lot more participation in this asset. So, like I said, I will not be surprised if it touches 16, but at the moment, we'll have to work with what we have at the moment. So this is what it's looking like. Okay, I think that's a long explanation about some of the events that's been unfolding. Let's take a look at the Wyckoff. If we look at the Wyckoff for this last block, what we see is that, well, we expect that what's happening here is some level of absorption that is taking place here. This is a phase 1, phase B for this asset, and we're heading up for a phase C somewhere here. This is a test. So, in fact, usually I don't like to have anything in my Wyckoff explanation. So this is a secondary test, another test in phase B. So definitely we're heading up for phase C. We expect to see some level of similarity in this area, a kind of test of this same area, before we make a final move down. So we are expecting that we'll be seeing about 37 or 20 something region, 31.7 or 20 something region. Let's take a look at the harmonics. So if we look at the harmonics, it tells a much clearer story. So in the harmonics for this setup, we see that we have an XA leg here, we have an XB leg here, and then we're looking at a C, and then we're looking at 31 or 26.5 region for reversal. In any case, we should not forget that what we are doing is forming a triangle. So what we are saying is a 1, 2, 3, and an A, B, C, D, E, and then a wave 4 somewhere around here before we final move up. So yes, there's an opportunity here for about a 125%. That's fine, but I don't think it's going to be this week at all. We still have some downtrend to go. Oando is not ready yet. So that's the position for now. Take care, guys. Guys, if you're really serious about investing, I highly recommend that you join EW Nation. We have our free articles and the premium article. What these professional analysis does is take away the guesswork and enable you scale in the market accordingly. We make our updates every Mondays and on Wednesdays, so you can be sure that you're catching all the moves as they take place. We also have video tutorials that document our strategies so that you can learn along. And we have feedbacks and we provide information as required. Thank you.